No matter how much money I had, no matter how much drugs I took, no matter how many parties, how many relationships, it just wasn't satisfying and cutting it. None of that stuff fulfilled me.
Dear Dad, what a journey it's been. I'm really at a loss for words.
If you were to ask me what hope was back in the day, I would say I would hope to get wasted. There was no hope really. But if you were to ask me now, the hope that I now have is Christ living in me. Early childhood memory that I have was when I found my dad with another lady that wasn't my mum. He got quite violent at that time. I remember him throwing my toy fire engine and he told me to get out of the house. And I remember for the first time feeling bitterness towards somebody who should have been there for me. I decided at that time, man, I'm gonna walk this life alone, on my own, because my father doesn't want me around. Any opportunity to do some crime or to do something that was the worst of the worst, you'd be considered the man. As a result of feeling down and depressed, I found comfort in alcohol and drugs, and even to the point where I just felt suicidal. And I remember going into the garage at my house and I set the rope up in my garage, tied the noose, put my head through, and then at that stage I couldn't do it because I heard this voice say, don't do that. I walked away from that experience thinking one day I'm gonna do that if I don't find a meaning, if I don't find a reason or a meaning to live. Some of my boys picked me up in the car and they said, oh, shall we go get drunk? We ended up just cruising around like most of the evening, and I was in the passenger seat and my mate was driving. Went to go do a U-turn on Weymouth Road, and then another drunk driver just comes swerving around the corner, just took us out. We were all concussed and knocked out for a while. When I woke up from blacking out, I just quickly touched myself. I was like touching my face. I was scared, and I was sober. And just the fear that came over me, knowing that, man, I could have died, caused me to just start thinking about my life more seriously. Anyway, I walked home from that accident, praying to God, praying and asking him to make himself real to me. The next day, I felt him say, go to church. So I went to church. I met up with my friend. I went straight to our pastor after and I asked him, man, I want to give my life to Jesus. That was at the end of year 2000. That was my last year in high school. I remember starting 2001 afresh with God, and that's where my new life would start in Christ.